Hey, how's it going? I have some really good news. So basically, my theory, where I assumed that if the Nasdaq original fund drops by 33%, um, and you're leveraging, your fund is going to get wiped out. So what I assumed that if you take 100 euro, right, and the fund drops by 33% in total, you are going to lose all of your money. So I assumed that if you have 12 consecutive days of 12% drop, you're gonna lose all of your money. Completely incorrect. So let's simulate this. All right. So this is the first drop, 12%. We get 88 euro. And let's keep going. All right. Next day, we're gonna have 77 euro. Next day, 68 euro. So the stock has now dropped 36%. 36%. And you're still retaining 68% of your value, right? Now, of course, if we leverage that, we're gonna have a different story. So let's do so that's gonna be 0.36, right? So we're gonna have whoopsie, we're gonna have 13 to 15, okay, like so. Okay, so that's going to be Scheiße, wait, where is that? Yeah, that's going to be 1 minus 0.36%. So you're retaining 64, whoops, and then we're multiplying by this, in here like this. So 64, 40, 26, right? You're still retaining, if this happens, you're still retaining 26% of value, right? So how many days do you need to wipe out all of your value? You will need, you will need, well let's go until 0, okay? I actually don't think it will ever reach the, okay, so now it's 2 cents, right? Yeah, okay. So to lose all of your value, you're going to need 21 days in a row, 21 days in a row of 12% drop. And then your fund goes to 0. Does that make sense? 12% for 21 days in a row. And you have to factor in that working day is only, like, stock is only open for 5 days, right? So 21 days would be, basically you need a little bit longer than a month of consecutive 12% drops every single day, non-stop. And then your value becomes basically 0, right? So, right, let's look at history. Did this ever, in the span of almost 10,000 days, well, 9,200 days, has this ever happened? We're talking about World War II here, right? We're talking about like catastrophes. And the answer is no, it actually never happened. There has never been ever a time in history where this was actually real, right? I think I have S&P as well somewhere in here. Um, duh, 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 Well, that's War versus S&P. It should be a different, yeah, this one is Nasdaq 100, because I measured S&P 500 and it was also the same. There is no time frame where you had 12% drops for 21 days in a row. That's just not possible. Even if you look at this, I mean, the worst ever was 15%, right? So this would equate to 45% leveraged, right? So then we had 7% next day, right? So this would be 21% leveraged, right? And then that's it. For that month, it has stopped. Oh no, there was another one on the 27th, which was 11.68%, right? But you see, they're not consecutive. They're not consecutive. That means the other days it was rising, right? Because we don't see October 1987 in minuses right now. Oh, there's one by minus 5%. There's another one 5%. But do you see, that means the other days it was positive, right? So what I'm saying is, mathematically, the statistical probability of your fund going to zero is does not exist. Impossible. Has never happened, right? And this is, I mean, we're talking about .com crashes, we're talking about Enron crashes, we're talking about massive property crash with a financial crisis at the same time, and it still survived. We're talking about global pandemic, and it still survived, right? Because mathematically, it's just never happened. This has never happened. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's, hypothetically speaking, say that the stock is going to go down by, let's say, 3 months in a row, which has, again, never happened, by 12%. You're still retaining 68% of your value. And you have to also look at the graph. So if we look at historical graph for Nasdaq 100, right? Let's look at the chart. What happens after catastrophes, after like global astronomical crises, right? When everything recovers, supply chain kicks in, the war stops, pandemic ends. Pandemic is ending right now, right? I mean, the deaths have fallen, a number of people, like the cases are falling, a lot of people are vaccinated. We have a vaccine against COVID, right? There doesn't seem to be any new variants that our vaccine cannot clean, right? So, I mean, like this happened. I'll show you like one example. You see, like in here, there was a 75% drop in value of stock on the 22nd, or on the 20th of 2020, basically. In 2020, right, the stock lost from, what was it, from February to end of March. For 2 months, it lost, between 2 month period, it lost 75, almost 80% of the value was dropped, right? Now, then what happened, right? People adjusted, astronomical gains. It happened, there was another drop again. We're talking about 40 or 50% drop. Again, if you wait long enough, right? There was another one. So this is 1.4 to 1. This is another one, like 20-30% at least, right? Again, survived. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying that, like, I mean, whatever, dude. And you have to also factor in that I measured the 5-year intervals at the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. If you invest in the worst case scenario, if you buy super high and you sell super low, there was not a single 5-year period where you would actually go negative, right? So if that's why they recommend in funds just hold minimum 5 years, because historically has never happened, right? Okay, so I'm just saying that when somebody tells you, oh, if it drops by 33%, your fund gets wiped out. Now, they're implying that a fund can drop by 33% in a single day. And we're talking about not the leveraged, but the original. This has never in history, happened, ever. All right. Now, you also have to factor in, okay? You also have to factor in that NASDAQ is a technology fund. It's a biotech fund. It's a communication fund. Companies in there are responsible for the IT infrastructure. And IT right now is, it's like water, right? People cannot live without IT, right? We're dependent on internet, we're dependent on websites, we're dependent on applications, we're dependent on mobile phones. We're like, it's like a utility, right? So yes, a company supplying water or whatever, like they may go down a little bit in value. E-commerce, okay? E-commerce is huge. Cloud computing is huge, right? That alone, and also you have to factor in that most pension funds and most gigantic super investors, gigantic funds like Vanguard, BlackRock, Fidelity, UBS, State Street, all invest into the technology, right? Because that's the future. We also have electric vehicles coming in now. So, like, these kind of like drops is kind of like whatever. Do you know what I mean? If you think about long-term perspective, it's actually quite good because that's how you get rich. You get rich by buying right now. Okay, because I mean, you see, when you think about this, when the stock went from 190 euro to 220, 230 euro, I mean, yeah, you did gain a lot of money. Like you earned 40 euro per share, right? But I mean, think about it right now. It went from 230 down to 108. If you look at the 106, think about the drop, right? The drop was 130 euro. Now you have to factor in that this will recover probably in the next 9 months for sure. Could be longer, could be 15 months. But can you imagine a gain of 130 euro, right? And this is just to go back to where it was, right? Because we know it's going to happen, right? And then plus the gains, right? So in 2 years, if you buy right now, right? If you buy right now and the history repeats itself, which is always does, right? If you buy right now and then the history repeats itself, you're gonna make an obscene amount of money. Obscene, because that's the beauty. It's like when the property crashed. I remember there were houses for sale that were eight 80,000 euro. I remember the house specifically I was looking at. It was 80,000 euro. I was like, holy shit. I went to the bank, but my income was so low, they kicked me out of the bank. They said, get a good job. I couldn't buy it, right? But the same house right now is 2,060. 200,000, basically 260,000 euro. So this is 4 times increase. And property normally does like 6% per year. But if you were to buy it in the crisis, you would have 4x your money. Do you know what I'm saying? So you wonder, why the wealthy people are always spreading doom and gloom. Why the wealthy people, like the wealthy cap, there's a guy, Graham something, he's permabull. Every single year he's saying, doom is coming, doom is coming. And yet he himself is in the stock market. How much money does he have? Let's see. I'll show you. Cheaper than Guru Guy, right? Where is he? Where is Mr. Graham? Oh yeah, Jeremy Graham. Yeah, I remember. So he's 20 billion, 20 billion in the stock market himself, right? 20 billion in the stock market. Now, why is he continuously spreading the doom and gloom? Because he wants to buy in here. He wants to buy low, right? Because that's how you get rich. That's how you get rich, right? But fundamentally, I mean, I'm making this video just to showcase that the math, because there are a lot of people like YouTubers and all that shit, they're saying that, hey, if your stock drops by 33%, you're doomed. I mean, historically, it's fabricated. It's not real. It never happened, right? And you have to factor in, yes, there were historically downturns, right? But you have to factor in, even during those periods, the stock was still rising a little bit, right? So, like, you have to look at history, you know what I mean? Like, and be like, it's just like, I don't know, it's just like, they're implying alien invasion, basically. That's what I'm saying is, they're implying alien invasion that we cannot deal with completely. Like, we're talking like a human wipeout, basically. That's what they're implying. Because they're saying 21 consecutive, but I mean, their math is wrong. I'm just saying that their math is wrong, right? Because we did the math right now, right? And if you just compound your stock 3 days in a row, you're still gonna have value, right? So I mean, it's just not gonna happen. The math is there, the data is there. I mean, you can look at it yourself. So that means you can sleep well. Yeah, I'm very happy about this discovery. So that's why I'm so excited, because you see, like, one of the things I was very, very paranoid about was the fact that I have to keep track every single day of the stock, because if it loses 33% of value, everybody is wiped out of the market. But I mean, stock right now already dropped by 60%, and I still have more money. The stock is still higher than what I purchased it for. That's how I came across this kind of thinking. I was like, wait a minute. The math doesn't work out in terms of what people say. The people who give you doom and gloom, be like, yeah, if it dropped by 40% and you're leveraging, you're doomed, right? Dude, if you just do the maths, that's wrong. It's just wrong. It doesn't work like that, because every consecutive drop is not coming from 100 euro, which is the initial value that we compounded. It's coming from the previous value, right? So every consecutive 12% drop is a smaller drop in terms of absolute value. Do you know what I mean? Yes, the drops are 12%, but if we think about it, right, how much did it drop by actually? Right? If we just do, yeah, if we just do like this, if we just do like this, so every consecutive drop is just getting smaller. 12% is still the same, right? But every next day it just keeps getting smaller, smaller, smaller. There is a point in time where 12% is 3 euro, right? It's so small. 3 euro. Gives a shit about 3 euro. That's when you buy, right? Because historically speaking, it's gonna go back to 100. And now when you bought at 27 and you go up to 100, now that is juicy. That is juicy. And we know historically that stock recovers very, very quickly. Because, like, I mean, once pandemic ends, the war ends, we restore our supply, we adapt, right? It's gonna go again into the bull market, right? And we've seen what the bull market does, right? And we know technology is the future, right? So I'm just saying, I'm just making this video for myself. So in the future, I'm gonna look and I'm gonna say, and you doubt it, right? For doubters. Well, I don't doubt, because I mean, I have already experienced maybe 3 or 4 years now. So if this was my first 3 months, I think I would have panicked by now. But I mean, after 4 years, after seeing all the data, doing so much research, seeing how other super investor behave, I mean, it's very, I'd say maybe peace of mind when you understand how the system works, right? All right, take care. Good stuff. Well done with the discovery. Have a good day. Bye bye.